Shalom, shalom, Israel. It's your brother Ananias for A.O.I, the Awakening of Israel. And I just want to say good morning to you. You know, it's an honor, it's a privilege. It's a pleasure to be able to come to you today, to be able to speak to you. But as always, we always come to teach, not just to talk, but to teach our brothers and sisters as to who they are, as to what's required of them and what's to come. You know, that's the whole purpose as to why we do what we do. And why is that? Because that's commanded of us from the Heavenly Father through His Son, that we go out to the highways and byways, that we compel our brothers and sisters to come into the house, that we wake them up to who they are, teach them to keep the commandments, and to keep the commandments ourselves, to be the light we were created to be, and to push forward and doing for the kingdom, for the elect's sake. You know, having faith plus works in the Most High and His Son, the Black Messiah, our big brother Christ. But before we get into today's lesson, you know, want to give all honor, glory, and praise to the Most High God through the strength and guidance of His Son, our brother Christ. Before we do anything, at all times, for the well-being and the nurturing of ourselves and our people, the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, the Israelites that the Bible speaks of, the chosen. Whether you want to hear it or not, that's on you, but the truth got to go out. So today's topic, we're going to continue on the promises. This is part 2 to the promises guaranteed to Israel. You know, my brother asked me a while ago, so I'm going through a series, small series, dedicated to answering that question. What are the promises of the nations of Israel? Why is it important to understand them? What are the promises? Well, let's get it. Isaiah chapter 14, verse 1. For the Lord will have mercy on Jacob and will yet choose Israel and set them in their own land. And the strangers, meaning the other people, the other nations, shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob. Yeah, in these last days, they're going to start cleaving harder than ever. Even when He cracked that sky, they're going to be trying to cleave to us. When they see the Black Messiah coming down through slaying folks. And if you want to come with us, yeah, you can do that. The Lord said it's going to happen. But when you come with us, understand that this is going to happen. Verse 2. And the people, meaning the Israelites, shall take them, meaning the strangers, the other nations, shall take them and bring them to their place, and the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord, for servants, yes, and handmaids, and they that take them captives, whose captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors. You see that? So in the last days, when He cracked that sky, even before then, you see it more now than ever, how the other nations trying to marry our brothers and sisters. You know, they realize what's going on. Our people don't. But the Lord is against that, marrying and mingling with them. Understand that. And He'll tell you why in Deuteronomy 7:3. Because once you start marrying them, mingling with them, they're going to turn you away from the Most High God. They trying to be saved, but they going to eventually turn you away from following Him and going to get you condemned, damned, if you will, by mixing and mingling with the other nations. You got so many beautiful black men, women, and children, Latino, Native Indian, man, woman, and child. Why do you want to date outside of your people? Why do you want to marry and have children with those outside of your nation? The Lord told you don't do that. And when you do that, that's going to set you up to be put down. Yeah, it's going to set you up to be put down. You know? But the Lord is commanding you and telling you not to do so. But the other nations gonna try their damnedest to cleave to the house of Jacob. And then when they do, we gonna take them and bring them to our place, to the land of the Lord, for servants, for handmaids. Think about that. Just think about that right quick. Things gonna be going so bad, they gonna cleave to you, begging for you to save them. And the agreement will be, yeah, just as long as you know when you get her, you're gonna be my servant and my handmaid. And they gonna be right along with it. Because they ain't gonna have no choice to be put to death. You know? Think about that. That's one of the promises guaranteed to the children of Israel for keeping the commandments. You know? And this is forever. That's the promise. That's why it's that much more important for us as Israelite men, women, and children to keep these commandments and push forward. Because that's one of the rewards at the end. For enduring to the end, you'll have eternal, servants and handmaids. You're gonna have them forever. Rulership, forever. You looking at TV now and fantasizing about having a butler or taking a vacation trip to the beach and having the butler come bring you something to drink. That's all you thinking about. The same, the images that they portray to you on TV. That's what you looking at. You thinking that that's something to aspire to be. Nah, you need to keep these commandments so you can have a servant all the time. To drive your car like they driving Miss Daisy. To walk your dog. To clean your house. To cook your meals. To wash your feet. To get on all fours so you can put your feet on their back and relax. To fan you, feed you grapes. Get up and change the TV channel. Cut your grass. You know? Go travel and bring back the food, go grocery shop. Think about that. The Lord is a just God. Just balance. What goes up must come down. Understand that. So they're on top right now, meaning they got to come down. And the only reason they're on top right now is because us as a people, the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, kept breaking the commandments. And because of that, we were cursed as a people. And the simple answer to fixing that is to just turn, repent, and come back to keeping the commandments. The more of our brothers and sisters we get to start keeping the commandments, the better off life will be for all of us. Even for this whole world, because the righteous shall be in rulership. And when the righteous are in rulership, the people rejoice. But when the wicked are in rulership, the people mourn, as you see all around the world, letting you know that the wicked are in rulership. That's why you see all this wickedness throughout the world. When you read the scriptures, you understand we were righteous. When King Solomon ruled the planet, ruled at his time during 40 years, the whole world was at peace. Not just Jerusalem, not just Israel, the whole world was in peace. Understand that. No war. Peace, understanding. So what do you think the people were doing? Rejoicing. Keep that in mind. When the righteous are in authority or rulership, the people rejoice. And if we keep these keep these commandments and continue to endure to the end, the righteous will once again be in rulership. And everybody will be rejoicing. They're going to be happy to be a servants and handmaid because that's what they were created to be. That's written in the scriptures as well. We need to understand that. But when we go contrary to what's written in there for us to keep, you see the obvious results. So once again, another promise that is given to the nation of Israel for keeping the commandments and enduring to the end. Not protesting, Not painting the streets with Black Lives Matter. Not marching hand in hand for another nation to have mercy upon us. We got to come together as a nation and stop worrying about the other nations and start keeping these commandments and pushing forward, building each other up instead of tearing each other down, loving each other instead of hating each other, by basically and simply keeping these commandments. It's that simple. Loving your brother and sister by keeping these commandments. Loving your God, the creator of the heaven and the earth and everything therein, by keeping his commandments. Understand that. So on that note, short video, but hopefully educational, insightful, uplifting, you know. Hopefully it was some inspiration this morning to get you pushing forward as to why you should be keeping these commandments, why you should be teaching them day in and day out to your brothers and sisters, to your sons and daughters. Because the kingdom is nearer than you think. And we in them last days. Stop following the ways of this world. Stop being conformed to this world. Because all that you do when you try to be in this world, it chew you up and spit you right back out. And you're still unhappy, even though you feel like you can't be anything but the ways of this world. It's still not going to make you happy. But when you're serving the Most High God, you'll understand who you are. You'll understand that it's a delight in serving the Lord, keeping his commandments. It's a delight to see your brothers and sisters wake up to this knowledge, to push forward. It's a delight to see your nation of people starting to come back together rather than tear each other apart due to the wickedness and systematic strategies of these other nations plotted against you to destroy you, to keep you on the bottom. When you realize that all that wickedness that you see in the world is stemming from the other nations basically hating you because you were chosen. And that's a good thing. To endure for the Most High and his Son, that's a good thing. Because if you ain't got that, what else you striving for? Vanity, foolishness. And the world will show you that. Especially the ones who rule in the world right now. It don't matter how much good you do, think you doing, it don't matter to them. It don't matter how many ideas you come up with, it still don't matter to them. It don't matter how much money you make for them. At the end of the day, you still a nigga. You still a spick. A wetback. A colored boy. A thought. A thug. No good. You a monkey. In their eyes. You'll never be more than your nation. You need to understand that. So stop trying to build on your own and build together as a nation. You'll never get anywhere when your people destroyed and you trying to build something. You got to reunite, renew the mind of your people. Then come together. Once y'all on one accord. For the common good of your people. When you living selfishly, you're going to get a selfish result. Everybody going to look at you selfishly. For themselves. But when you living for your people, now the tables turn. Now your people are realizing what's at stake, what's at hand. So remember, it's a delight to keep the commandments of the Lord. They're not grievous. And to love the Lord is to keep his commandments. For all those who say, I love the Lord, that's what he requires of you, to keep his commandments. For all those who say they love their brothers and sisters, keeping the commandments is how you show love toward each other. You know, not following the ways of the world, not itching to go continue on keeping the same wicked customs of this world, but to keep these commandments. Come together for the high holy days, the feast days, for the new moons, for the Sabbaths. Build yourselves up in the spirit. Stop caring about the thoughts and the feelings of the people in this world. Because as much as you try to assimilate and be equal to them, like I said before, the more they're going to let you know that you're not. They're going to tell you that you're beneath them. Even though they smile in your face and even a high five you, they're going to let you know, as soon as the opportunity presents itself, who is in charge. So, as an Israelite man, woman, and child, you need to be striving for perfection by keeping these commandments, enduring to the end for the kingdom. You know, to be able to serve and dwell amongst the glory of the Most High God, His Son, to dwell in peace, to be in rulership, to have servants and handmaids forever, and to rule over your oppressor. You know, that's the reward. That's one of them. So on that note, I hope this was educational. I'm Brother Ananias for A.O.I, the Awakening of Israel. And remember to keep pushing forward and giving glory to the Most High God and His Son, Christ, for the strength and guidance and example to us all. And on that, I say shalom.